Hello everyone, it's been a long time since I've made a video, so I decided to bring the channel back by doing what's called a Let's Play, where someone will play a game and make comments and tell what they're experiencing and, give the viewer something to enjoy and possibly want to play the game themselves. I thought about a long time what I wanted to do, and I decided that I wanted to do, with Halloween coming up, a survival horror game. Could have done a lot of things. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, huge Silent Hill fan, but ultimately decided with a game that is credited to be the origins of survival horror. Capcom's Japanese role-playing game, Sweet Home. Now, Sweet Home was produced in 1988, I believe. I may be proven wrong when I get to the last slide, but it has a lot of the original elements you'd have in like Final Fantasy, but with buckets and buckets of violence and gore. Not really typical for a NES game. So it's one of the reasons why it's accredited with the status of being the origins. There's a lot of horror imagery and lots of blood and gore. The game originated as the video game adaptation of a film released very similarly, very much about the same time the game was. The film's creators actually went to Capcom and said they wanted a game adaptation of their film. And it's interesting, one of the actors from the film is actually a main producer on the game. So the two were made very much side by side, and so there's a lot of similarities between the two. While I have not seen the film, I know that the game follows almost the exact same plot line and uses the exact same characters. Unfortunately, in the game, because of the limitations of the Nintendo Entertainment System, they're not able to flesh them out as much, which is unfortunate. But so not everybody has the exact same traits, but each character in the game is given a certain attribute to reflect their personality. Whereas the film, they're able to act out their personalities. The game actually gives them items that will reflect their personality. Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami credited Sweet Home for being his main inspiration for Resident Evil. He loved the survival aspects of Sweet Home, and he loved the way it held a horror atmosphere, and he wanted to recreate that in a way that would be more of an action game as opposed to role-playing elements, where you would feel the fear more than you would in a role-playing game. He mostly loved the survival aspects of it. Now, 1989, I was off. Game's as old as me, actually. So, while the game was never released outside of Japan, English translation was finished in the year 2000, and released to the underground ROM community. I don't know if cartridges of the English version exist. If they do exist, I'm not sure about it. I wasn't able to find anything on an English version of the cartridge. But with NES remakes nowadays, there's very likely that there's cartridges floating around to the new version. So I'll be playing through the English version, which I have a copy of the ROM. So I'll be playing it through an emulator. That way it's easier to record and easier to progress through the game. So let's experience Sweet Home together.